Guys, you've waited such a long time for this one. I'm excited. It's monk time. Yes, the final class we've got to cover in our Mr. Pandaria previews. And this is going to take a little while. Oh, yes, it is. A brand new class. This is a whole new ballgame for me. I did not get to cover the DKs. I was not doing a YouTube channel then. But now I am. And now I've got a new class to play with. So you guys are asking, what the hell is the monk about? Some of you have tried it. Some of you are a little unsure. Some of you are kind of like, well, I've not tried it on the beta. Should I re-roll Preacher? What do you think? Are they going to be OP? Are they going to be crazy? Are they going to be shit? What are they going to play like? Can I get a feel for them? All that kind of stuff. So let's bring it to you today. The only way I can do this video is, first of all, a whole video dedicated to the monk in general. But then we're going to do 3 videos covering the DPS spec, the healing spec, and the tank spec. Yes, we are. That will lead us up till Thursday, and then I'm away at Gamescom. All going to be good stuff. So let's kick off with the basics. The monk. What is the monk and how does it feel? It's very, very ninja style. I like it. I like the play style a lot. You can see it's got some very ninja stuff going on. I'm a ninja monk. Blackout kicks with spinning roundhouses. Chuck Norris all over your face. So yeah, it's got that very monkey Buddhist breaking your head with planks and all that kind of stuff sort of feel to it. Excuse me, I've still got a cough. And the animations all back that up. The actual animation and stuff has had a lot of work put into it. I really like the effects they've done on it. They come with 3 specs. We've got the Brewmaster, which is a tank, Mistweaver, which is the healer, and the Windwalker, which is the damage. When you level, you will level till level 10, and then you will get to choose whether you want to be Horde or Alliance. They've created one singular starting zone for the monks, and then you jump into it. Resource system. Let's talk about the resource system. The resource system is new. They've decided to add energy and mana. Okay, so Brewmasters and Windwalkers will have energy, very much like a rogue. Mistweavers will gain mana. Their energy bar will be replaced with mana. And they also have this little system here. You can see these 4 little balls. They are called chi. Those are your chi. Or kai, I believe it's actually pronounced kai. Okay, so it sort of looks on the face of it like a rogue. It plays a little bit like a rogue / rep paladin. Even the Holy feels Mistweaver feels a little bit like that. They've got sort of a mishmash of both. Why are they a mishmash? Well, the combo point generation, which is your Kai, generates combo points. Oh, why don't you see? You can see I'm generating these cheese here, these Kais. I'm going to call them cheese. That's how I've always been brought up to say it. It generates chi, but you're not always looking to generate maximum amounts like we are in a rogue. We're not looking to generate a 4 chi finisher or anything like that. We're trying to just generate chi so we can use various abilities that actually cost chi. Sounds simple enough, right? So in that respect, it's more like a rep paladin, generating holy power. What do we do with it? And mixing it up. So we've got energy like a rogue. It's a little bit of a combination of the both. We have procs going on, a hell of a lot of procs, which brings us more towards the rep paladin side of things. You saw a proc go off straight away there. Let me get to a rather lesser abusive one with a flying super kick. Everything in this class is based off Mortal Kombat, straight up. The animation might be Kung Fu Panda, but everything is based off fucking Mortal Kombat. So you can see we get procs here, which give us free blackout kicks. Those are going to be one of your DPS things. We get another one, which gives us our Tiger Palm. All lots of procs going on, and then we can actually use and dump our chi in our usual ways. All very cool. I just love that kick. Let me wait 6 seconds to show you this again. It's called Rising Sun Kick. This Rising Sun Kick, what can I attribute that to? Templar's Verdict, Mortal Strike. You know that big ability you need to use on cooldown? It's actually called Rising Sun Kick. You can see he does a backflip and he does his kick. And that's going to be your big ability that you're saving up for. So like a Warrior's Shield Slam, Mortal Strike, anything like that. Anything that's a big 6-second cooldown that you need, 8-second cooldown, that you need to keep on cooldown to do your maximum amount of DPS. That's the Rising Sun Kick, costing 2 chi. Okay, so let's go through the spells and get an idea for what the hell we're going to be doing here. So we've got some different, all things that are sort of pulled from other classes. I do want to say the monk doesn't feel unique enough. I'm going to go out and say it does not feel unique enough like the Death Knight did. The Death Knight was a whole new ball game. The Death Knight brought in a completely new resource system that we'd never seen before, but I can understand there aren't that many different ways of doing a resource system that feel cool, so I understand why they've gone with this. However, the DK with the rune system and the runic power, that sort of balancing act between the two was really, really nice. And all the spells and abilities, Army of the Dead, all these such cool abilities, Death Grip, a whole new mechanic brought into the game. Very, very nice. So it does not feel like that for me. They don't feel unique enough just yet. So whether you want to change them, it's certainly if you don't like rogues and rep paladins, you're probably not going to like the monk. I just want to put that out there. If you do like paladins, you're certainly going to enjoy this one. Okay, so we've got different ways of generating chi. That'll give you an idea. You've got Blackout Kick. Kick up with a blast of chi energy or kai energy, dealing some damage. If behind the target, you deal an additional 20% damage over 4 seconds, so you get a slight little bleed of that. If you're in front of the target, you get healed for 20%. So it works for leveling, and it works for max DPS. You can see the nice little trick they've put into there. Charging Oxwave, these are talents. Crackling Jade Lightning. Some people seem to think this was an enhancement shaman sort of ability, a chain lightning. It's not bad, but it's not amazing either. See, it deals 5,770 damage, but you can ranged generate some chi, which is if you have to move out. You have to move out of the fight. You can fire off your Crackling Jade Lightning, and you're going to get a little bit of damage done. Not a great deal by any means, but you are going to start regenerating chi if you cannot get into melee range. That's all good. Abilities like Fists of Fury. I will say the AoE feels a little bit weird on the monk so far, but it could be that I'm not playing it exactly correctly, but we're jumping ahead. So we still get detox. You get a cleanse of some sort, removing all poison and disease effects. Of course, if you're Mistweaver, that's going to remove magic as well. Your hamstring, seems we've got the same graphic, is called Disable. You disable the target's movement, reducing their movement speed by 50%, so you get a slow. Energizing Brew. Regenerates 60 energy over 6 seconds, 1 minute cooldown. Now, this is because we're going to be spamming our energy on things like Jab in order to generate our Kai. So you can use my energy up, and then I can take a brew, and I'll start re-energizing. You see my energizing brew is bringing me back lots and lots of energy, just to make sure I can keep up with my rotation nice and standard, and not have much downtime. Nobody likes downtime in any class, and keeping your energizing brew on cooldown is going to be a great way of countering that. Expel Harm. Monks work in a very mysterious way. They work by absorbing damage and then redistributing it amongst their class in various ways. It's very much like the trinkets that we saw from Firelands, where you could take a huge blow and then redistribute it in a much more safe manner. Expel Harm. Instantly heals you for 15,000 and causes 100% of the amount healed to instantly be dealt back as damage. So you've got a sort of reflective heal. Very nice, costs 40 energy, very nice for leveling. It's only on a 15-second cooldown, a nice big sort of instant cast heal, like a Word of Glory, would be a nice comparison to it. But it also does a little bit damage reflected back. I'm not going to talk specifically about abilities that are only for Windwalkers, so I'm going to wait till we do the Windwalker spec. Fortifying Brew turns your skin to stone, increasing your health by 10% and reducing damage taken by 25%. So there's your shield wall style ability. Your nice big defensive cooldown is there. Grapple Weapon, you fire off a rope spear, Scorpion, grappling the target's weapon and shield, returning them to you. So you do have the disarm ability that also works on shields and weapons, and it's ranged. It's ranged ability. You fire it off. It's got a 40-yard range disarm, very much like Horrify for the Shadow Priest. Very, very cool little ability. If you steal a better main hand weapon, your damage or healing will be increased by 5% and damage taken reduced by 5%. So if you steal someone's better weapon, you're in good shape. These spheres are a nice little addition. See, we can drop spheres. Spheres. Very cool. We drop healing spheres, dropping around. And now there's a lot of things with the monk which involve plopping things on the floor. I never really like that, especially when we're raiding. There's a lot of moving around, but still be aware that that is there. A healing sphere. You form a healing sphere out of the healing mists. With healing mists, apparently, because we're very zen. At the target location for 2 minutes. If allies walk through it, they consume the sphere, healing themselves for 15,000. A maximum of 3 spheres can be activated on the monk at any given time. This is brilliant for melee. This is absolutely fantastic for melee, is that we can drop these in the melee, healers especially, and just get tons of healing from them, because the melee are always there. They don't need to move anyway. You can drop them on them. It's also good for healing camps for the ranged, but melee are getting a lot of benefit from these healing spheres. Jab is just a way of generating Kai. Very nice. We get our raid buff. You extol the words in the Last Emperor, increasing strength and agility and intellect by 5%. Ching! Lovely. And we also get Legacy of the White Tiger. Let's Windwalker. We'll skip that. Paralysis. You cause the target's muscles to contract, incapacitating them for 30 seconds. If done from behind the target, the duration is doubled. Only one target will be the victim of paralysis at any given time. So there's your stun. That's your CC ability. It requires melee range and it can be used in combat. It's not like a sap, so you can go up to something and you can... It's basically like Spock, right? You've got this Spock ability where you grab on the neck and you squeeze. That is exactly what paralysis is. It's based on Spock. Just, if you think about the Vulcan neck grip, that's what it is. The Path of Blossoms, you create a fire blossom at your feet every 1 second, 3 seconds. The blossoms will last for 10 seconds and deal fire damage to the first enemy that walks over it. Fire blossoms cannot be created within 3 yards of an existing blossom. So you can create these blossoms. It's a very interesting idea. I want to see how it plays out. I really do. I just want to see how it works out overall. I've not seen many people using this. I really haven't. Your taunt is called Provoke. Of course, the DPS get that as well. You have a Resuscitate. We talked about that. You've got Roll. Now, this is awesome for leveling. You roll. Yay, I'm rolling. They see me rolling. Cliche song of the day. From Preacher, you get your roll. And you can do your nice big leap around. And you mix that in with the... not that one. That one. Way! Liu Kang just shits his pants. Yeah, if you mix that in with your Flying Serpent Kick, you can move around so quickly while leveling. No downtime at all. Be aware that Flying Serpent Kick can actually be pressed twice and it will tell you where to land. So that's nice. A Spear Hand Strike. Instant 15-second cooldown. Melee range. This is your interrupt. So you get your interrupt. It's called Spear Hand Strike. Spinning Crane Kick. This is sort of like the ability that everybody knows about. We know there's a monk in the party when we see this. It's an AoE for sure, 40 energy and it's channeled. You spin while kicking, doing some damage and some healing if you're the healer. Movement speed is reduced by 30%. It generates 1 Kai if it hits at least 3 targets. It lasts for 3 seconds. So, although it looks like a super awesome AoE and you think that must be doing incredible damage, we stand in the middle here, you're only going to generate 1 Kai from this. You see? Got all the damage I'm doing there. I'm only hitting for 16k, and that's with the total of all the hits. It's not an amazing DPS ability, but it is an AoE ability. The Spinning Fight, that's a Windwalker. We'll skip that. Tiger Palm. Listen to this one. Your Tiger Palm causing your attacks to ignore 5% of your enemy's armor. It stacks up to 3 times. Now, this is like a Sunder Armor, but it benefits you only. So when you're starting to do something, like if you're tanking or pulling or something like that, you want to get as many Tiger Palms off as quickly as possible. And luckily, Tiger Palm only costs 1 Kai. We can stack it really quickly. You can see the buff actually goes on yourself, not a debuff like Sunder Armor or Fairy Fire or anything like that. It actually comes on yourself. You're going to want to manage that buff very, very well. Moving now, we've got Touch of Death. This is the ability they've designed as not only an execute, but a brilliant ability to use in PvE on raid bosses as well. But more importantly for leveling. It costs 3 Kai, but basically it insta-kills things. It's really cool. You exploit the enemy's targets. Touch of Death, Touch of Death, Touch of Death. You exploit the enemy's target's weakest point, instantly killing them. Only usable on non-player targets who have an equal or less health than you. So when that boss gets down to 140k, you can Touch of Death them, insta-gib. All very cool for the monks to do that. Zen Meditation, a channeled ability on a 3-minute cooldown. It reduces all damage taken by 90% and redirects you up to 5 harmful spells cast against party or raid members. So you have a raid cooldown that affects up to 5. But it's 90% damage reduction and takes so much damage. Zen Meditation is a little bit OP, let me tell you. Zen Pilgrimage. Your spirit travels to the peak of Serenity in Pandaria, leaving your body behind. So we're going to cast that now so you can see how it looks like. We get into very Buddha mode and we go off flying away. Woo! Very nice. So this is essentially like the Druid's ability to get back to Moonglade. See, we're going to just travel off into Mist of Pandaria. Obviously, you must own Mist of Pandaria to play the monk. So there you go. That's why the ability is not crazy. And don't think of any crazy ways of getting here. And then you arrive at the peak of Serenity, where you can, of course, respec. Very nice. Jumping back in. Where are we? Zen Pilgrimage. Your Zen Sphere is a talent. I'm going to talk about those soon. And then we get a lot of passive talents as well, which are sort of power towards the specs, so I'll cover them when we go into the individual specs. So I want to get away from you to take away from this idea that our monkey fellows are working on a double resource system that changes. So they have the rogue ability of energy. They also have a combo point style ability in their Kai or Chi, depending on you. I know I'm gonna get rage in the comments about this. And then you don't have to build them up. So you see, most of our abilities like Tiger Palm requires 1 Kai, Blackout Kick requires 2. Rising Sun Kick requires 2, so we're not looking to max these to do like we would on a rogue. So in that respect, it works very differently, and we have a ton of different procs. Let's look at the actual talents before we jump. Like I say, I'm not being any specific on this video. I'm going to do an individual video for each of the specs. So at level 15, we're going to pick up a choice of how we movement. This is very important that they put this in the early stages. They want people to level monks relatively quickly. So moving around is so important. I always tell you in my leveling guides or anything like that, and preparing for Mist of Pandaria, that movement is number 1. So Celerity allows you to roll and cheat torpedo more often, increasing their maximum number of charges to 1, and reduces their cooldown by 5 seconds. So we can actually gain stacks of roll. Very, very important. So we can see I'm rolling there, and I will build up another roll. You see, I can roll instantly again, thanks to the Celerity talent. We get Tiger's Lust. It costs 1 Kai. Instantly clears the target of all immobilizing and movement impairing effects and increases their movement speed by 70%. So we get a sort of dash ability that costs us a Kai, only on a 30-second cooldown. Very nice. Momentum. Every time you roll or chi torpedo, your movement speed is increased by 25% for 10 seconds. Stacks up to 2 times. So we get very nice little movement additions. Movement's so important for playing the monk. Really is. We've got to level pretty quickly. Get used to using your rolls, your tiger's lust, and your momentums, whichever one you choose to pick. I prefer celerity purely because when I move from mob to mob, I start recharging it and getting extra charges. So if I need to move a more lengthy distance, I can just double press it and I can mix in things like this. Your nap ability never gets old. Never ever gets old. Level 30. We get some way of dealing with damage and healing, okay? So we get Chi Wave, costs 2 Kai, Kai Wave, whatever. You cause a wave of Kai energy to flow through friend and foe, dealing 8,388 damage or 8,900 healing. Bounces up to 7 times to the nearest targets within 20 seconds. Essentially a chain heal. When bouncing to allies, Kai Wave will prefer those injured over full health. So you get a smart heal, okay? Costs 2 Kai, 8-second cooldown, and we can send this wave out there. Very nice AoE ability. Zen Sphere, costing 2 Kai, forms a Zen Sphere above the target, healing the target for 3,000 and dealing 3,000 damage to the nearest enemy within 10 yards, if the target every 2 seconds. Only one Zen Sphere can be summoned at any one time, so we can only use one type of sphere, the Zen Sphere. If Zen Sphere is cast again while active, the previous Zen Sphere will detonate, dealing healing and damage. So you have this like mushrooms ability, almost like the druid mushrooms ability, very similar to that. Just think of it like that and you'll be in a good place. And Kai Burst, 2 Kai, a 0.93 second cast. You summon a torrent of Kai energy and hurl it at the target, dealing 10,000 damage to all enemies and 11,000 healing to all allies in its path. So like a torpedo of healing and damage. We've seen this coming a lot. Hunters have got things like Power Shot, Glaive Throw. We've got this new mechanic in Mr. Pandaria, which generally revolves around hitting things in a path. Very Indiana Jones style. Monks are no different. At level 45, we get a different way of generating Kai. Your jab generates an additional Kai when used. This effect has a 20-second cooldown. If you're already at maximum Kai, a Kai sphere will be summoned near you. Ascension. Increase the amount of maximum Kai you can have by 1. And Kai Brew. Instant restores all of your Kai on a 1.5 minute cooldown. So we have different things to do there. So you can have Kai Brew for a little bit of burst. We need to do some sick burst. And Power Strikes just to make sure we have a generally better income of Kai. Obviously Power Strike seems better for me for leveling. Level 60, Deadly Reach. Your paralysis ability is now usable from 20 yards away. Nice little PvP ability for you there. Leg Sweep, getting a little bit more Chuck Norris, more towards the Van Damme. You knock down all enemies within 5 yards, effectively stunning them. Shockwave! What? Sorry. Yeah, you effectively stun them for 5 seconds. Shockwave. And charging Ox Wave. A mighty ox effigy rushes forward 30 yards in front of you, stunning all enemies within its path for 3 seconds. I tried charging Ox Wave for the video I was showing because it sounded cool. It's not that cool. At level 75, we get different ways of coping with magic. So we get healing elixirs. Anytime you drink from a brew, remember we spoke earlier about our energizing brew. We've got fortifying brew as well. Healing elixirs. Anytime you drink from a brew of tea, you gain 10% of your total health. This effect cannot occur more than once every 15 seconds. So we can actually heal ourselves by using our 1 minute cooldown energizing brew. Very cool. Dampen Harm. You dampen the damage attacks from the most... Let me start again. You dampen the damage from the most harmful attacks done to you. The next 3 attacks within 45 seconds that deal damage equal to 10% or more of your total health are reduced in half. Very nice defensive cooldown. So good defensive cooldown. Diffuse Magic reduces all spell damage taken by 90%, anti-magic shell, and clears all magical effects on you, anti-magic shell, reversing them back to their original caster if within 40 yards if possible. Spell Reflect. Yeah, an awesome ability. As you can see, yes, so many things are borrowed from other classes. They might have funky names, but if you've played a variety of classes in Cataclysm or previously, you're not going to be any trouble picking this class up. At level 90 are super amazing abilities. Rushing Jade Wind. You summon a whirling tornado that travels 30 yards in front of you, dealing 17,000 nature damage to all targets in its path, and increasing damage taken by your spinning crane kick by 30% for 8 seconds. Like an AoE burst, okay? If you're a Brewmaster, it causes Shuffle when cast. Shuffle we're going to get to in the Brewmasters. And Mistweaver, increase the healing done by your spinning crane kick by 50%, giving you a nice burst AoE heal as well. We'll talk about each of those specs individually. Invoke Zuen, the White Tiger. This seems to be the one that everybody is picking right now. I've got to be honest. If you're a healer, you tend to be rushing Jade Wind, but everybody else seems to be going for Invoke Zuen. Invokes the White Tiger Celestial. Summoning an effigy at the command of the caster, the effigy will assist you, attacking your primary target and also inflicting Tiger Lightning over 6 seconds to 3 nearby enemies, so it's got some nice cleave, within 10 yards, dealing 35,000 damage over 5 seconds, lasts for 45 seconds. For the Brewmaster, Zuen will also taunt the target, forcing it to attack him. So you get this extra thing on a 3-minute cooldown, you summon a pet, he comes out, he does either Mad Deeps or he'll taunt and just save your ass a little bit should you be in trouble if you're a tank. Nice little ability. And you get the Kai Torpedo. Torpedo a distance in front of you, dealing 8,000 damage to all enemies and 6,000 healing to all allies in your path. Kai Torpedo replaces Roll. So we get a roll that we're going to be using all the time, but it will start doing some damage and it will start doing some healing. Pretty weak level 90 talent, that one. Pretty damn weak, yeah? Not amazing. If you compare it to Zuen or the Russian Jade Wind, Kai Torpedo just feels a little bit weak. The good thing about Kai Torpedo is it does replace Roll, and it is on a very, very short cooldown. So if we're doing really, really short amounts of burst, then it's not too bad at all. It really is not too bad. So keep an eye out on that one. The Glyphs, let's look at the Glyphs. What do we get here? I'm going to talk about the ones that aren't class specific, so I'll go into them there. You get Glyph of Enduring Healing Sphere. Increase the duration of your healing spheres by 3 minutes, so if you place them down and you're worried that people are slightly further away, they're bound to run over them in those 3 minutes. Expel Harm, increase the range of your Expel Harm by 10 yards. Remember, it reflects the damage. Fortifying Brew. Your Fortified Brew reduces damage taken by an additional 5%, but increases your health by 10% rather than 20%. I like that Glyph if I'm a tank. Gotta be honest, I prefer to take less damage than have more health. That's always generally better. Moving down, Path of Blossoms. Increase the number of blossoms you create by 1. Glyph of Retreat. When you roll or Kai Torpedo, all threat is temporarily reduced for 10 seconds. If you do have threat issues, which you shouldn't, Retreat could be quite cool for you. You should not have threat issues though. Spinning Crane Kick. You move at full speed while channeling Spinning Crane Kick. Not bad. Not bad if you're doing a Mega AoE fight with a lot of movement. Stone Skin. When you use Fortifying Brew, all bleed damage taken is reduced by 20%. I hate this Glyph. This Glyph is absolutely fucking ridiculous. It really is. Because there are certain fights that involve a hell of a lot of bleed damage. The Stone Guard is one of them. And this makes monks so stupidly overpowered. I know it only works with Fortifying Brew, but the fact that it takes extra bleed damage away by 20% is really powerful. Well, then the other classes can't deal with that situation. Transcendence. Increase the range of your Transcendence transfer spell by 10%. Don't worry about that. It's the level. That's the later ones. Zen Meditation. You can now channel Zen Meditation while moving. Oh, who cares? And then remember, Zen Meditation is the ability that brought us here. And Crackling Jade Lightning. Your Crackling Jade Lightning knocks the target back at further distance, and after being knocked back, increase the damage the target takes from your Crackling Jade Lightning by 25%. But it's a knockback that knocks further. That's the important thing to read there. That is the important thing. The other one I'll touch on a little bit is stances. I only get one stance as a DPS monk, and that is Stance of a Fierce Tiger. Increase damage done by 20% and increase the amount of Kai generated by your Jab and Expel Harm abilities by 1. Well, there are various other ones, very similar to Warriors and Paladins again, is we have various stances, one for tanking, a healing stance, etc, etc. Everybody gets the DPS one, just in case we know it needs to do a little bit of extra DPS, we still get our Stance of the Fierce Tiger. There are other stances involved, we'll cover them in the main one. I just realised I didn't talk about the abilities we get along the way. Kai Torpedo is there. Enveloping Mist heals your target for 71,000. See, some spells I still need to learn. Let's cover these. Heals the target for 60,000 over 5.5 seconds and increase the healing the target receives by your Soothing Mist by 30%. If cast while channeling Soothing Mist, Enveloping Mist will be instant cast. So a nice big dangerous heal and a renew all working together. Surging Mist heals the lowest health party or raid members within 45 yards for 17,000 and generates a Kai. This is like this is like something. There used to be an ability a healer add-on. I forget the name of it now, but it just showed you a list of who was most likely to die, and you could top the healing meters by literally just clicking this mod and healing them. I don't like abilities that play the game for you. I don't. Transcendence is what you're going to get at level 87. You split your body and spirit, leaving your spirit behind for 15 minutes. Use Transcendence to transfer to swap locations. Teleport. You split your body and spirit. Not bad at all. And you get the transfer. So you get basically Warlock Portal. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with the Warlock Portal. So you can swap around so you get some nice movement. So what am I going to go with in summary? The Monk is an amalgamation of a lot of classes. It essentially feels like a rogue and rep pally, but overall, all abilities are sort of grabbed and pulled and taken from every single other place in the universe, and that's okay. So you're going to be fine playing it. It's not as unique as the Death Knight. That worries me a little bit. I would, after waiting so long for another new class, 2 expansions, I would like to have seen something a little bit more unique, but it's not. Ultimately, it is not, so that's okay. That's okay. You guys, it's more comfortable for new players, I suppose. That's what I will say. You remember you're wearing leather. You can equip 2 one-handers or staffs. You're not actually attacking. They're stat sticks. If you don't know what stat sticks means, is your weapon is just for the stats. The actual, you're not going to be hitting anybody with your staff. You're not going to be hitting anybody with your dual daggers or whatever it is you're going to be equipping. You're wearing leather armor. As you can see, I'm all gemmed up for agility in terms of DPS. Even the tanks are going for a heavy agility build. We'll talk about the tanks in more detail. And your weapons are staffs, or you can dual wield as well. So that's what you're going to be using. Even the monks, generally using staffs. Go away. And that's all very cool. There's the monk, guys. Alright. Monkey time. So we're going to jump into some gameplay of all 3 specs over the next couple of days. And I'm going to show you those. You take it easy, ballers.